Bosses have their plan now, asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. We need a just recovery, that's a fact. We can't wait, so we need to act.
Happy Labor Day! We want to acknowledge we are on the traditional land of Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabeg, the Huron-Wendat, and today the Mississauga of the Credit. Today we are feeling grateful to be sharing the land. And we're going to march. Sorry, we're going to drive. We're going to ride. We're going to sing. We're going to bike. We're going to take over the street.
Woo!
Whose street? Whose street? Whose street? Whose street? So next year we might be able to march, and we're looking forward to that. And today we are going to do whatever it takes. Today we are going to do whatever it takes to send our message that we're not sleeping. This pandemic is not holding us back. We're moving on. We're sending the message that we're going to take back what's ours. We're not returning to no normalcy. We want improvement in our life. We want respect. There's an election on its way, and they better be careful and watch out, because we're coming out to vote, and we're not coming to vote on any more empty promises. Today is Labor Day, where we normally come out to celebrate our gains, our struggles, and yes, we have a lot of struggling happening today. But for sure, we're here to say that we are with our communities. We are with the other cities as we stand strong and celebrate Labor Days, as we hold our ancestors up that fought and some have died for these gains. And we're sending that message that we are not about to give up anything. We are about to stand strong. We are going to continue to carry the torch for those gains. And we are going to continue to fight to improve what we have, and definitely to make sure that we are here for changes. Okay? So, as we move on, we have two lovely MCs here. We have Brother Muhammad Ali, the socialist vocalist. Wow. Everybody know my brother here. And we also have Sister Yolanda McLean, the Equity Vice President of QP 4400 and President of the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. And you couldn't ask for a better team. They're going to take us on our route. Today, it's rising up for a just recovery. And definitely we are here to show that we're not going to roll over. We're not going to crawl to it. We are rising up. We are demanding what's ours. Sisters and brothers, friends, allies, comrades, let us move on our way and let us send that message that we're not backing down. We are going to demand what's ours. Happy Labor Day!
Welcome to the first ever Labor Day Cavalcade. The theme for the Cavalcade, is Rise Up for a Just Recovery. This cavalcade is taking place during the 150th anniversary of the Toronto and York Region Labour Council. Congratulations! The Canadian Labour Movement can justly claim the title of originator of Labor Day. Earliest records show that the Toronto Trades Assembly, the original central labour body in Canada, and the precursor to the Toronto and York Region Labour Council, organized the first North American working people's demonstration of any significance on April the 15th in 1872. The parade marchers were accompanied by 4 bands. Next year will be the parade's 150th anniversary. About 10,000 Torontonians and people from all over nearby communities turned out to see that parade and listen to the speeches calling for an abolition of the law which stated that trade unions were criminal conspiracies in restraint of trade. But let me tell you something. We will tell you more about the printers' strike that led to that parade. And a little later on, when we pass by the printers' strike plaque just to the southeast of Queen's Park. But for now, we can tell you that Labor Day, as a national and workers' holiday, came out of that action through legislation 128 years ago. There is no doubt that the annual demonstration of workers' solidarity each Labor Day owes its inspiration to a small group, just a small group of those quote-unquote illegal members of the Toronto Trades Assembly.
Our program today includes short remarks from a number of union leaders and members and friends of working people. We also have some music and lots of chants that we want you to participate in. And you can participate by honking your car horns along to the chants, but not as we pass by the hospitals on University Avenue. The cavalcade is just about to start rolling. It actually has just started rolling. Please follow the vehicle in front of you, drive safely, and pay attention to any instructions the marshals give you so we all stay safe today. Please tune your radio to FM 95.5, and we're also live streaming on YouTube today. If you have any trouble with your radio reception, ask a passenger in your car to go to Labor Council. If you're having problems finding the FM radio 95.5, you can get a passenger in your vehicle to go on the Labor Council's YouTube channel and find the live stream link on Labor Council's YouTube. We're going to drive slowly so that there's a time to hear about all the unions that are participating today. We also want any bicycles to be able to ride safely with us. Later, we'll tell you about the affiliates who are participating today, but first, let's welcome some guests. We welcome the Canadian Labour Congress and the Ontario Federation of Labour. Also joining us today are some of Toronto's progressive city councillors and school board trustees. We are also joined by some of Toronto's NDP MPPs and Ontario NDP leader Andrea Horwath. And there's a federal election underway, and we are joined by some of the region's NDP candidates. Welcome all. Our first speaker is Brother Dave Mitchell, President of Atu Local 79, Toronto City Workers, who will tell us what the last year has been like for their members of the City of Toronto, Bridgepoint Hospital, and the Toronto Community Housing Corporation, and how QB 79 members are rising up for a just recovery. So everybody, please help me welcome President of QP 79, Dave Mitchell.
Happy Labor Day, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Thank you, everyone. My name is Dave Mitchell. I'm president of QP Local 79. We represent over 20,000 workers at the City of Toronto, Bridgepoint Hospital, as well as Toronto Community Housing. Today, a quick poem about what we've been through. On Labor Day, we thank our members for... On Labor Day, we thank our members for rising to the many challenges of COVID-19. Not just frontline workers, but those workers who remain unseen. You kept service going throughout our great city, day-to-day necessities, nitty and gritty. In shelters and housing and long-term care, you served Toronto well all through despair. Our cleaners, enforcement, childcare, and recreation, you put yourself at risk, and no matter the situation. In transportation, we moved. In communications, we grooved. In our health and safety, we always improved. During each new crisis, and the uncertainties, our local 79 members stepped up their game. For this, we recognize your dedication and hard work, as we know the personal strain that it took. To all of our members, both seen and unseen, we are grateful for the proud heroes you've been. On this Labor Day 2021, there is only one thing to say. It is no small thing to accomplish every day. Together we'll do it, and together we'll rise for a just recovery. Thank you, everyone. Solidarity.
From time to time. Thanks, Dave. Great remarks. We continue to support you in the great work that you're doing. From time to time, we are going to stop at a location of interest to the labor movement. At each of these stops, we will hear from one or more union leader speakers or even our allies of labor. If you want to honk in appreciation of the remarks or to join in a chant, please do that, as long as it doesn't drown out the speakers for others who are trying to listen. These next instructions are so important. Please do not honk when we are going by the hospitals on Gerrard or University. Please do not honk when we are going by the hospitals on Gerrard or University. Let's honor those who are on the front lines and their patients by respecting their need for quiet. Now for some chants.
Happy Labor Day, everybody. So what do we need to do? Well, chant it with me. We need to rise up against their plan. And now for the future, for our fam. All lent together, sister, brother, hand in hand. Rise up against their plan. Act now for our future, for our fam. Workers draw a line in the sand. All lent together, sister, brother, hand in hand. Now y'all know this one, so chant it with me. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause power of the people won't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause power of the people don't stop. For a just recovery, we rise up. Not just you and me, we rise up. For a just recovery, we rise up. Justice here for you and me. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Rise up. Make some noise, y'all. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Make some noise, y'all.
Now we're going to tell you about some unions that are here joining us today, and then we'll go back to some chants. AMAPCO, the Association of Management, Administration, and Professional Crown Employees of Ontario, has represented professional employees in Ontario's public service and the broader public sector for over 25 years. These workers, now over 14,000 strong, proudly contribute to delivering quality public services and touching the lives of Ontarians across the province. Members include policy advisors and analysis, financial analysis, auditors, mediators, and arbitrators, and many, many more. AMAPCO is proud to stand in solidarity with public and private sector workers to celebrate the accomplishments of the Labor Day movement, past, present, and future. Another union I want to tell you about is Atu Local 113. Thanks for joining us today. You represent approximately 11,500 employees of Toronto Transit Commission and the TransDev Services Canada workers in York Region. They're here with their vehicle operators, maintenance workers, fare collectors, and clerical workers who move over 1.5 million people every day on North America's third largest public transit system and keep our city and our transit city safe. The local first successfully organized workers at the Toronto Street Railroad in 1899. In the early 1900s, Local 113 was a leader in the movement to establish a publicly owned transit system in Toronto. They have been fighting against the forces of privatization ever since. Welcome, Atu Local 113. And the last union I want to tell you about is the Boilermakers, Local 128. Welcome today. You did receive your charter from the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers with 47 members, and today, a total membership total is close to 2,000 members, making you one of the largest local international brotherhoods. Boilermakers build, you repair, you maintain huge industrial installations. Look at all around us what's going on today. Boilermaker welders fit parts together using their welding equipment, and Boilermakers make and move huge part assemblies. We'll see that as we go along, all the installations and all the work that they do as we drive today.
We can't keep waiting. Paid sick days now. They can't keep stalling. Health and safety now. We can't keep waiting. Rent control now. They can't keep stalling. Workers need action now. They can't keep waiting. Paid sick days now. They can't keep stalling. Health and safety now. We can't keep waiting. Rent control now. They can't keep stalling. Workers need action now. We can't keep waiting. Paid sick days now. They can't keep stalling. Health and safety now. We can't keep waiting. Rent control now. They can't keep stalling. Workers need action now. Woo! Make some noise, y'all. Okay. We need to protect frontline workers now. We need to protect gig workers now. We need to protect education workers now. We need to defend all workers now. All workers now. All workers now, 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 now. Y'all want to do that one again? We need to protect frontline workers now. We need to defend gig service workers now. We need to protect education workers now. We need to defend all workers now. All workers now. All workers now, 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 now. We need to protect frontline workers now. We need to defend gig workers now. We need to protect education workers now. Need to defend all workers now. All workers now. All workers now, 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 now.
As we're doing the Ministry of Labor at 400 universities, and has been hard work trying to please its business friends. We have a couple of speakers who will tell us how their members in the fair pandemic and how they are rising up for a recovery. We'll ask each speaker to keep their remarks to about 2.5 minutes. So let's get started.
Thank you very much, brothers, sisters, comrades. I'm delighted to be speaking today on behalf of 14,000 steelworkers in Toronto and York region. And as I said earlier, our members have been telling us for months that they will refuse to return to normal. They want us to fight, and they want us to fight for a better society that they have been yearning for years and years and years, because they appreciate this is not simply a COVID crisis, it's an economic crisis, it's a climate crisis, and intertwined in all of it is systemic racism that oppresses so many. And I think they appreciate very clearly that they are part of a worldwide movement. There's been the Black Lives Matter. We've seen Wet'suwet'en and so many of the indigenous people across this land rising up. We've seen the farmers in India. We've seen the workers in Nigeria. We've seen people around the world saying no to what is. And that is why we are saying rise up and fight back for just society. And I know, and you know, we have seen strikes all over this city. Tropicana Community Services, Black Street Community Health Center, Wine Rack, in my own union, NRT, Rexplas, workers who are saying no to pandemic profiteers, workers who are saying no to concessions. And you know what? They're taking the streets, they're going to the picket lines, they're building solidarity, and we know, as you know, you are all with them, and we are for each other. We are building solidarity. Our workers are telling us they want permanent paid sick leave that so many in our manufacturer do not have. They want a $20 minimum wage. They need everything that they require to have a decent life in an expensive city. So we're here to say we are supporting Toronto and York Region Labour Council, our new president, Andy Babington, every step of the way. And we are going to fight. We are going to fight for that new society that benefits all. We are many, they are few. We have the collective power. We listen to our members, and we're going to fight back and create that new world. Thank you very much.
Excellent job. Woo-hoo, excellent, excellent. Now I want to welcome Pam Frake with the Workers' Action Center and Justice for Workers.
Well, it's such an honor to be here, sisters and brothers, and I want to first say thanks to you. We have put the issue of paid sick days squarely on the table in Ontario, in British Columbia, in Nova Scotia, right across the country, and it is now a key issue in the federal election. And we did this with our allies in the NDP and by union and non-union workers fighting together to say we are not going to accept anything less than at least 10 paid sick days, employer-paid seamless access for all. And the fact that the first thing Doug Ford did when he got elected in office is he canceled the 2 paid sick days we won together. And then we forced him to put 3 back on the table. But then he was going to cancel them again, and we forced him to put them back on the table again. But it's still temporary, and we still need to fight for permanent paid sick days. But this shows us, no matter who gets elected, we can force even the most anti-worker government like Doug Ford to move on our decent work agenda. But sisters and brothers, it's a heck of a lot easier when we have decent work champions representing us in Ottawa and in Queen's Park. And we are the majority outside Ottawa. We're the majority outside of Queen's Park. And we need to make sure that we send as many decent work champions as we can. That does mean we have to vote for a $20 minimum wage. We must vote for 10 paid sick days. We must vote to fix employment insurance so that it works for every single worker. We know we can't live on less than $500 a week. That's either through wages or income support or social assistance. That's what we learned from COVID. We need at least $500 a week to survive. And will we take anything less? Sisters and brothers, we fought to make decent work central in the federal and provincial elections. Let's keep organizing. Let's rise up. Let's fight for a just recovery, but let's fight for a just society forever. Let's fight for justice for workers, status for migrant workers, decent work for everyone, and let's leave no one behind. Thank you so much, sisters and brothers.
Now let's hear it for Pam. Thank you, Pam. Now we're going to hear about some other unions. Let me tell you a bit about the Canadian Union of Public Employees. QB Local 79, 416, 1000, 4400, 4948. They're all with us today. But not just them. QP's Ontario's community union with 260,000 members, providing quality public services that we rely on in every part of this province every single day. QP Ontario members are proud to work in social services, healthcare, municipalities, school boards, universities, and airlines. QP Ontario is dedicated to building a province where all people have the decent work and no one is discriminated against or left behind. They work to improve provincial legislation and achieve policy and political changes that leave no one behind. Yeah. Joining us today is also the Canadian Union of Postal Workers. CUPW Toronto represents more than 3,000 letter carriers, clerks and mail service carriers employed by Canada Post from Mississauga to the boundaries of Old City of Scarborough. Postal workers are proud to have been at the forefront of many fights for equality for workers. And in the 1980s, they were the first union to achieve maternity leave for workers. They also achieving same-sex benefits and seniority rights for temporary workers, Aboriginal hiring rights, and pay equity for suburban mail carriers. Congratulations. They pledged to fight all cutbacks to all public services. Thank you, postal workers. Now we're stopping at St. Patrick's subway station, where we will welcome Aleem Thurani to the mic for a couple of minutes. Aleem is a board member at large, maintenance with the Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 113. Welcome, Aleem.
Sisters and brothers, happy Labor Day! Happy Labor Day! So I'm here representing the transit workers of Toronto, TTC and Transdev, operators and maintenance, and I just want to let everybody know we are currently in collective bargaining, and we will not take zeros for transit heroes! We will not take zeros for transit heroes! We kept the city moving during the pandemic, and we will continue to move our city. And we want to let everybody know, our workers and our riders, that we will do everything possible to protect all of us, all of us. We are now in bargaining, and again, we will not take zeros for transit heroes. We will not take zeros for transit heroes. We will not take zeros for transit heroes. Thank you, everybody. Have a good Labor Day. Just recovery for all. Let's rise up. Let's get out there and vote in these upcoming elections and get the right people elected. The right people that will help labor and help us. Thank you very much.
We won't take zeros for transit heroes. We won't take zeros for transit heroes. We won't take zeros for transit heroes. We won't take zeros for transit heroes.
We also want to welcome really quickly other unions that are here with us today, like ACTRA Toronto, Atu Local 1587, the Canadian Union of Brewery and General Workers, Local 325. Special shout out to them because they were fighting locked out earlier this year. Let's also welcome Carpenters Local 27 and COPE 343. Now, I want y'all to get loud again. Rise up against their plan. Act now for our future, for our fam. Workers draw a line in the sand. All and together, sister, brother, hand in hand. Rise up against their plan. Act now for our future, for our fam. Workers draw a line in the sand. All and together, sister, brother, hand in hand. Make some noise, y'all. What do we want? What do we want? A just recovery. When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Make some noise, y'all. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Bosses have their plan now, asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Make some noise, y'all. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Woo! We can't keep waiting. Paid sick days now. They can't keep stalling. Health and safety now. We can't keep waiting. Rent control now. They can't keep stalling. Workers need action now. We need to protect frontline workers now. We need to defend gig workers now. We need to protect education workers now. We will defend all workers now. All workers now. All workers now, 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 now. What do we want? A just recovery. When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? For a just recovery, we rise up. Not just you and me. We rise up. For a just recovery, we rise up. Justice here for you and me, rise up. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Make some noise, y'all. You ready?
Another union that's joining us today is IAM, District 78 of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. It's affiliated with the Labor Council. Welcome, IAM. The first Canadian local was established in Stratford, Ontario in 1890. IAM represents a diverse membership of 45,000 members across Canada. IAM is a strong voice for working people in all sectors. Their members provide a wide range of services in air transportation and a wide range of manufacturing and also in the healthcare and hospitality sectors, as well as office, technical, and other white-collar workers. Justice on the job and service to the community is what IAM represents. Another union joining us today is IATSE 873. They've been representing film technicians in Ontario since 1958. They currently represent 3,300 film technicians in 14 categories. These include boom operators, construction, costumes, craft services, electric, grip, hair and makeup, props, sets, greens, scenic, script, sound, special effects, and transportation. Toronto's film industry supported more than 35,000 jobs and contributed nearly $2 billion in production, sending to the provincial economy last year. Joining us today is Ibew 353. Welcome, Ibew. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 353, is a forward-thinking, high-skilled, and dedicated electrical union. Ibew Local 353 represents approximately 11,000 members who work in a variety of electrical places and who work across central Ontario. Established in 1903, Local 353 has successfully representing licensed electricians and registered apprentices in the construction industry. Today, the Ibew remains a hard-working organization of top-notch electricians and like-minded professionals committed to benefiting the integrity of this industry. Ibew Local 353 is dedicated to bettering the lives of its members and the teams of accomplished contractors that they work with.
What do we want? Just recovery. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Make some noise, y'all. We also want to take a quick minute to also welcome many various CUPE locals. Make some noise, y'all. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers Scarborough, IATSE 58, the Millwrights, and the Ontario Nurses Association. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. We need a just recovery, that's a fact. We can't wait, so we need to act. We need a just recovery, that's a fact. We can't wait, so we need to act. Their plan got us in this mess. Their plan got us in distress. Their plan got us in this mess. Their plan got us in distress. Make some noise, y'all.
Please welcome Gig Workers United Vice President Bryce Soper. Bryce Soper is here with us for his comments on that important issue.
Hello, thank you everyone. My name is Bryce Soper and I'm a worker for Uber Eats. I'm a gig worker and I'm the Vice President of Gig Workers United. I believe in the future. I'm not down. Despite everything, I come to you with a message of hope. And you would ask, why would I be hopeful? Over the pandemic, while playing a key role in keeping people safe at home, gig workers had our pay cut. We haven't had access to bathrooms. We haven't had any paid sick days. Many of us still live on the knife's edge of precarity. COVID, shame. COVID brought out the worst of our system, and we are called essential, but many of us, like many of you, were treated as expendable. We are purposely misclassified as independent contractors, meaning we are treated like employees yet have none of the protections of an employee. The apps can demand everything of us, and they give us nothing in return, no support, no access to EI. We can be terminated without any appeal. If our car gets ticketed, if our bikes are stolen, if the tools that we use to make these companies money are break down, we get no support in return. Yes, they want to have their cake and eat it too. It's the best of all worlds for them. Yet I still have hope. You might ask yourself, how can I have hope when the Doug Ford government in Ontario is on the cusp of letting the boss write labor law through Flexible Work Plus, which will legalize our misclassification and shut the door on any protections and deny us the right to unionize. Aaron O'Toole's top policy person is an Uber lobbyist. He's not looking out for us. He's looking out for the people who line his pocket. Shame on him, yes. The powers that be have either colluded with corporations that exploit us or ignored our cries for justice. But I have hope because I don't look up expecting change. I look around me. I look at my comrades. I look at the Syrian refugee making outreach calls between 10-hour stints on the road. I look at my South Asian comrade who just got here a year ago. He's fighting for his permanent residency and going to school, and he's still hitting the streets and talking to his fellow workers about the power we can have when we're united. You know, after a long day, it would be so easy for everyone to go to sleep and rest, but they come out, those who have it the hardest, they still believe in the future. So gig workers, we don't have a lot, but we have each other. We have people power, and that is the real power. It's why we're all here today. It's the power to change history. We need all of you to believe in the future alongside us. We can't do this alone. We will not be alone to feel the consequences. If Uber gets their way, it'll be a disaster for everyone, and it'll embolden other companies to do the same thing. Our comrades at Cup W have realized this, and their support has been crucial. So I ask all of you to say with me that you will believe in the future. We believe in the future together. Thank you, everyone. And never forget the power that we have while we're united.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
The workers united will never be defeated. The workers united.
We'll never be defeated.
The workers united.
We'll never be defeated.
The workers united.
We'll never be defeated.
As we move up Yonge Street, we see construction underway to remark the stretch of downtown Toronto. To speak about the impact of COVID on the construction trades is Lee Capiro, business manager of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 353. Welcome, Lee.
Thank you, sister. Are we having a great Labor Day? We missed a great Labor Day last year. We're doing our very best, but here we are, and we're in solidarity. This is amazing. It's amazing that we're here together. Brothers and sisters, I represent 13,000 electrical workers in the province of Ontario and Southern Ontario in Local 353's jurisdiction. And we have been working hard. Most of us have been deemed essential workers. We have been working through ice storms, different challenges, and now a pandemic. And it's sad. It's a sad day when you consider that it took a pandemic to improve job site conditions. That is sad. We must work not to change the laws, but to have the laws applied. The laws are there. We need to stand in solidarity. We need to make sure that no matter what worker goes to work that morning, that worker gets to go home and be with his family safely. We have kept the lights on. We ensure that the power grid stays safe. We make sure that we work in all industries to make sure that the power, that the lights, the internet, everything we rely on stays on safely. We have worked 24/7 to make sure that workers are out there keeping our communities safe. Ibew Local 353 has been working hard with Toronto Community Benefits Network and Hammerheads to ensure that the young people of today, the youth at risk, the people that are most going to suffer into the future, if we don't unite, we have been working hard to not provide jobs. We provide careers. We provide careers. You must understand that we are under fire. You must understand that the general contractors, the clients, no one cares for the record worker. We need to fight for ourselves. We need to make sure that everybody understands what we need as workers. And we need, right now, solidarity. Stay strong and fight for that just cause. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Thank you. Great job.
The bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. We need a just recovery, that's a fact. We need workers' rights, we need to act. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Make some noise, y'all!
Next, we are stopping at the Chelsea Hotel, right here, where we will hear briefly from Melissa Sobers, Unite Here Local 75. Melissa will tell us what's been happening to hospitality workers during the pandemic and how Local 75 is rising up for a just recovery. And we will send a message of solidarity to their members who are working here today on Labor Day. Welcome the Chelsea Hotel workers! Stand up.
Thank you, everybody, and happy Labor Day!
Happy Labor Day.
So, solidarity! 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 Thank you, everybody, and happy Labor Day. My name is Melissa Silvers, and I am a hospitality member. I've been a member for the past 10 years of Unite Here Local 75. We are the GTA's Hospitality Workers Union representing hotel, food service, and gaming workers across the GTA. You all know that the impact of COVID-19 has been severe for our members. Many have been laid off, and they still don't know when we will be able to return to work. And unfortunately, but not surprisingly, hotel owners, hospitality owners, they have taken advantage of this pandemic. Shame! They have used it as an opportunity to get rid of long-time hotel workers, hospitality workers. Shame! And they've tried to roll back on the gains that we've made over the years in our collective bargaining. Shame! But we are not going to give up. We rose to the occasion when our workers were asked, when our hotels were translated into shelters for people suffering from homelessness. We rose to the call for duty, and we helped, and we stood there. But these hotel owners, they still disposed of a lot of us, and we are not going to leave anyone behind. So that's why Unite Here has 3 essentials for workers. We are making sure that the politicians commit to protecting jobs, to ensuring a safe route back to work, and to ensuring income security for all laid-off workers. It is an election year, and we are going to go to the polls and remind them that when tourism was booming, we were there, and we never gave up, and we made this city billions. So we will be back, and we find hope and strength in fighting for every single worker. Solidarity.
Great job, thank you. As you've noticed, we just stopped at Shoppers Drug Mart. A lot of post office work has been contracted out to shoppers, and it's non-union workers. Shame, shame, shame. Kaiser Manoff, the president of CUPW Toronto, will tell us about the pandemic and its impact on some federal workers and about an interesting solution. Welcome, Kaiser!
Solidarity, sisters and brothers. Let me salute all the workers who have survived, who moved the city, who moved the working class people during this pandemic. Sisters and brothers, I like to salute. It is your day. It is the workers' day. We the workers, we serve the public. But the boss is a bully. Boss is harassing us. Boss is abusing us. This is the time that we do not want a just recovery. The workers are the recovery. You stand up, rise up for you and for your right. It is election time now. September 20th, we'll be casting our ballot. We do not want any fake promises. This is your time. You show the government that we support the labor. We support the government who listen to labor, not the bosses. How come the labor cannot have a 10 sick pay day? How come the labor doesn't have a minimum wage requirement for $20 when the boss and CEO making millions of dollars in profit and their salary? Shame on them. Shame on them. Sisters and brothers, this pandemic has exposed all the corporate world. They're abuser, they're harasser. But remember one thing, in this city, in this land, everything, whatever moves, that is moved by a worker. I would like to congratulate and salute all the frontline workers. But shame of the Duckford government, shame on the federal Prime Minister of Canada, who failed our frontline workers, who failed our every essential worker because they never treat us as essential worker. They are all fake promisers. Sisters and brothers, stand up for your right and elect a government who is a labor-friendly government. Elect a government, the working class people will be the ruling class people. Rise up. Solidarity forever. So. Solidarity. So. Solidarity. So. Solidarity.
What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Make some noise, y'all. So I want to take another minute to welcome many of the other unions joining us, like the Professional Institute of Public Service of Canada, the Public Service Alliance of Canada, amazing federal workers, SEIU Local 2, and other teachers' unions, including the OSSTF District 16. Yeah, my sister knows what I'm talking about. Also, the Toronto Elementary Catholic Teachers and the Toronto Secondary Catholic Teachers. Make some noise for these unions, y'all. And also ETF York Region, UFCW Locals 175 and 663, and Workers United, and many, many more unions. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
As we get ready to go up to our hospital row, where we're going to hear from some of our speakers and send a message of appreciation to our frontline health workers here today. First, I want to welcome Nikki Gurgen. Nikki Grugan, so nice to have you, a personal support worker and the president of QP Local 5439. Welcome, Nikki.
Hello, I'm Nikki Gurgen, president of 5439. I'm representing the Hillcrest Hospital workers here. The entire frontline staff are extremely underpaid. PSWs are getting $16 an hour. Nurses are getting $21 an hour. Receptionists, kitchen staff, reactivation people all are underpaid. Premier Doug Ford calls frontliners heroes. We are not treated like heroes. This is exploitation. It started 4 years ago, started before COVID, continued through COVID, still going on. In this hospital, we went to COVID outbreak, risking our lives, risking our families' lives in these dangerous and stressful times, but still treated unfairly. This has to stop. It has to stop now, not sometimes in the future, but now, because we are not going to stop fighting until the exploitation stops. The UHN, St. Elizabeth, you are mistreating our patients, our seniors, by mistreating us, people who look after them. You run a hospital, you talking about loving care of patients, but you're killing your workers. Frontliners are physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. Your job as an employer is to protect us, to respect us, to pay us. You're not doing any of that. Instead, you're abusing us. You have to stop treating us like numbers, disposable, easily replaceable. And you need to start paying us. Just pay us. It's not your money. It's public money. It's taxpayers' money. And taxpayers are not happy the way you're treating frontline workers, the way you're treating healthcare workers. You think you're big and powerful to bully us? Think again. You think you have the power? No, we have power. We have union power. Who has the power? We have the power. What kind of power? Union power. Who got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? Union power. So. Solidarity. So. Solidarity. So. Solidarity.
No, I know. Hey, everybody, just want to make a quick announcement. Just got to make a really quick and very, very important announcement. Since we are in the hospitals, we want to respect our healthcare workers and their patients, so please show your support, but no honking in hospitals row. We love the support. The healthcare workers, their patients love the support, but no honking when on hospitals row. Solidarity.
So why don't I just tell you a little story? But at first, as we begin to pass by Queen's Park, where we will circle the provincial legislative building, we will hear from a few speakers about the important provincial issues, public services, education, healthcare, and more. But first, here's my story. On the east side of Queen's Park Crescent, southeast park of Queen's Park, we pass a historic plaque commemorating the printers' strike of 1872. As I had mentioned earlier, the Canadian labor movement can justly claim the title of originator of Labor Day because Toronto workers organized the first North American working people's demonstration of any significance in 1872. The immediate purpose of the parade was the freedom of 24 imprisoned leaders of the Toronto Typographical Union who had been on strike to secure the 9-hour working day. It was still a crime to be a member of the union in Canada. After the parade, these laws were soon abolished. In the years that followed, there was pressure on the federal government to declare a national holiday, which we call Labor Day. The holiday was enacted in 1894, 128 years ago. Happy Labor Day! Thanks to the workers in Toronto and the Canadian labor movement for all the work you do. Let's welcome Fred Hahn, the president of CUPE Ontario. We know that, Fred, you got a lot to say, but we know that you're going to keep these remarks short. Happy Labor Day.
Friends, let's start by congratulating the first black woman to lead a labor council in all of Canada, Sister Andrea Babington! This is an important milestone because it is long past time that our movement reflected our members, reflected our militancy. I'm here from the Canadian Union of Public Employees. Our members, those ambulances that went past us, CUPE members, the folks who maintain the TTC, CUPE members, people working in these hospitals, CUPE members in schools, in universities, and all of our members have been working hard during the pandemic to keep our communities safe. Let's send a thank you to frontline workers on this Labor Day. And as we approach Queen's Park, let's also be reminded of this. We have a strong movement. We have a workers' movement. We can build strong collective agreements. We can fight for health and safety. We can do all of those things, but it won't matter a good goddamn if a politician sitting in Queen's Park takes away our rights or defunds our services. Politics matters. And on this Labor Day, we say, our future's on the ballot, friends! In the federal election, we must vote for people who represent our interests. And on Labor Day, let's be reminded that the labor movement is a founding member of the New Democratic Party of Canada. Let's also be reminded that we have less than a year before we're going to be voting on who sits in that pink palace just ahead of us. Less than a year! And we're here to say, vote them all out! Every last Tory, every last one, from every corner of the province, vote them all out! Because we deserve better, we can achieve better, we can actually fix our public services, invest and create the kind of communities we need. We can have a government that fights anti-black racism, that actually stands up for truth and reconciliation, that actually creates good jobs. But we must work together to do that, friends, in our workplaces, in our unions, in our communities, and at the ballot box as well. Happy Labor Day! Happy Labor Day! Happy Labor Day! And let's try a little chant. It's going to be weird because half you in cars, but let's just try it. Repeat after me. I believe that. I believe that we. I believe that we will win. 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 Woo!
Thanks, Brother Fred. On behalf of CUPE, we thank you. Let's move on to some of our teachers, our elementary teachers of Toronto, OSSTF District 12, Toronto, and the York Catholic teachers and other teachers unions, you are all welcoming back your students this week after a year and a half of COVID. Teachers unions represent teachers, occasional teachers, school psychologists, educational assistants, CYWs, attendance counselors, and many trained professionals who serve the needs of our students in our communities. Combined, they make up approximately 30,000 public sector workers in GTA, elementary and secondary schools in both the public and Catholic school boards. They protect and defend rights under collective agreements, advocate on behalf of teachers and students, and help lead in areas such as poverty reduction, nonviolence and equity, social justice, climate change, and environmental issues. They will continue to mobilize for justice, especially in protecting, enhancing, and promoting equality public services, and stopping for its cuts to education. And now, we come to our issues of our public education, where schools set to resume this week, and teachers in education and their parents don't know whether they're coming or going, but we know that they're going to stay safe and they're going to be healthy while ensuring that their students get the education that they need to succeed. First is Vanessa Stoby, the first Vice President of District 16, York Region of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation.
Happy Labor Day! It's so great to be out here with you all. I want to start with a chant. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Let them hear you over there, because on June 2nd, 2022, I can tell you I stand here saying that we're ready here to vote you out. Education for the last 3 years has been under attack. We have had a slash and burn government that has said no to lower class sizes, yes to privatization of education, and the mere fact they've brought in things that have hurt the most vulnerable of our students, the marginalized students, our Black, Indigenous, and racialized students. That is unacceptable. We stand here as education workers and teachers to say we will not let this happen. And as you stand here on the streets with us today, I know you won't let us happen, because we know that we can do this, we must do this, and we will do this on June 2nd, 2022. We will get a government that is ready to have a just and equitable education system for all. So I say here today, what do we say? So. Let's rise up for a just recovery.
Thanks, Vanessa. And now we're going to hear from Sister Jennifer Brown, the president of the Elementary Teachers of Toronto.
Okay, it's okay. Happy Labor Day, everybody. I'm Jennifer Brown, representing the Elementary Teachers of Toronto, 11,000 strong. This time round with COVID-19, we all want a safe September. We want our students to be safe and return to the classroom. And yet, Doug Ford, he doesn't seem to get that. Instead of providing school boards with the funds he needs, we need the resources we need for a safe return. He has slashed the budgets. My colleagues and I have been working tirelessly to demand for concrete steps for a safe September. This means smaller class sizes. This means improved ventilation with clear standards. This means mental health support for students. This means paid sick days for everyone, including parents, so that they can keep their kids at home. And all education workers who need it can get it. We need a just recovery, because health and safety matters. We need safe working conditions, because safe working conditions are the learning conditions. We need this government to appropriately fund education to meet the needs of all students, not some. We need a just recovery because achievement matters. Students deserve access to high quality learning opportunities. They need to be staffed with teachers dedicated in one modality. We do not need a fractured, simultaneous learning situation. We need teachers dedicated to a classroom so kids get the needs met. We need success outcomes, and there is no need for hybrid. A just recovery is important because learning matters. Students deserve a good education. What's happening now is this government is paving the way for a two-tier education system. That is not acceptable. We need a public system with public dollars for the people. We must all do our part to ensure that Ontario is going to be led and governed by someone who is for the people, because this government is not. We need to make a change right now. And with you, with us, with labor, together, we can do it. So, solidarity. So, solidarity.
Good job. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Matt, to make sure I didn't get hit by that tree behind me. Now for some more chants, though. Bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. The bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Their plan got us in this mess. Their plan got us in distress. Their plan got us in this mess. Their plan got us in distress. We can't keep waiting. Paid sick days now. They can't keep stalling. Health and safety now. We can't keep waiting. Rent control now. They can't keep stalling. Workers need action now. Need action now. Need action now. Need action now, now. We need to protect frontline workers now. We need to defend gig workers now. We need to protect education workers now. We will defend all workers now. All workers now. All workers now. What do we want? A just recovery. When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Happy Labor Day. Make some noise, y'all.
Before we get to our next speaker, let me tell you about another group of folks that are joining us here today. SCIU Healthcare, Service Employees International Union. Healthcare represents 60,000 frontline healthcare workers in hospitals, long-term care facilities, and home care agencies in communities across Ontario. 85% are women working as registered practical nurses, registered nurses, personal support workers, clerical support, social workers, housekeepers, developmentally support workers, paramedics, lab technicians, and dietary aides. Their number one priority is to ensure that members' work is recognized and valued by their employers. They bring frontline workers' voices to the table. We heard from some others, but we are going to hear from one more. But first, let me just tell you about another group that's joining us today, the Society of United Professionals. The Society represents 8,000 professionals in Ontario, including engineers, scientists, supervisors, and lawyers. The Society was provided more than 70 years ago by engineers who wanted a better working condition for themselves. They now have members in public, private, and non-for-profit sectors. Welcome, Society of United Professionals. And now, next up is Kingsley Kwok, the healthcare professional. As we talked about it on our strip for the healthcare, we are proud to have the president of Atu Local 575, member of Atu Executive Board, and an NDP candidate in the current federal election in Scarborough Rouge. Now we'll hear from Kingsley. Welcome.
Happy Labor Day! throughout this pandemic over the last 17, 18 months, more than all our Ontario Public Service Employees Union members, most of them have been on the front line, whether they're in healthcare, like in the hospitals and long-term care, or whether they are in correctional facilities or congregate settings like shelters, whether they are women's shelters or homeless shelters, or whether they're in the Liquor Control Board, Ontario stores, or distribution centers. We are serving on the front line everywhere. And now that COVID has hit us, now we can see that after 40 years of austerity, cutbacks, underinvestment, this is what we cannot handle when something so tiny like a virus will shut down our economy, not once, not twice, but now in a fourth wave. Just like I've been working full-time in a hospital, in the ICU, even now we are seeing COVID patients on the ventilator or using lots of oxygen that we are giving. So what we are seeing is that we don't want a recovery back to what we had 18 months ago. We cannot have more hallway medicine. We cannot go back to long-term care with no standard hours of care. We cannot have underinvestments. We actually need more investments. We actually need more workers, not fewer workers. We actually need more workers and more support for workers. Better health and safety. We cannot handle what the virus hit us, and now we have workers who are burnt out, who are quitting, even when we're in the fourth wave. That's not what we are about. We need better budgets, not budget cutbacks. We need more workers, not fewer workers. And don't forget, this pandemic has hit the economy so hard that most of the women workers have to be home to look after their children. There's no recovery without a she recovery. There's no recovery unless we have better benefits, better benefits and better contracts. Right? Right, Fred? Yeah, we need permanent jobs, not gig work. Happy Labor Day! Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, Kingsley. Kingsley, go. Go, Kingsley, go. Woo! I just want to say one thing real quick before we do some more chants. They say that we're coming out of this lockdown. But let's remember all the workers that didn't get to stop, that kept going, that kept us going. This is Labor Day. This is for the workers. Make some noise, y'all. What do we want? Just recovery. When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? The bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. The bosses have their plan now, not asking for a handout. Workers, do you hear that? Call for actions here now. Make some noise, y'all. We just have a couple more unions to let you know about, and then we will hear from our president, Andrea Babington.
Joining us today is the Toronto Firefighters. I saw that got a couple of trucks out here. The Toronto Professional Firefighters Association Local 3888 represents approximately 3,000 men and women of Toronto's fire service who proudly serve the people of Toronto, responding to every emergency scene, protecting our city around the clock every day of the year. The local was formed in 1998 after the amalgamation of the former cities of Scarborough, Toronto, North York, Etobicoke, York, and East York. With about 80 community stations located strategically throughout the city, they protect community from all types of hazards, including fires, medical emergencies, vehicle accidents, and hazardous material emergencies. Welcome, Toronto Fighter Fires. UFCW Local 1006A is a progressive, dynamic, and inclusive local union representing over 36,000 workers. They're among one of the largest private sector local unions in Ontario. They're food and retail workers who work in a wide variety of sectors, including retail and restaurants, warehousing, trucking, food processing, eye care, distribution, fur, leather, and education. Local 1006A works to advance and protect the rights and livelihoods of their members. They advocate for fairness, equality, and justice in the workplace and in our communities. They're committed to helping all workers achieve fairness, respect, and dignity in all of our workplaces. Welcome, UFCW. And now we'll give our last word to the Labor Council President, Andrea Babington.
Andrea, 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 Andrea.
All right. So I think we said it all. And one thing I want to make clear, throughout this pandemic, we lost thousands of lives. Thousands of sisters and brothers and neighbors. And we definitely need to take this time to offer condolence also to families and friends that lost their life through this pandemic. Aside from that, we have to step up to the plate. There's no one going to remember these names a few months from now because they're not related. They're just numbers. And today, we rise up. We are rising up. We're rising up for each other. We're rising up for our community. As Sister Pam mentioned today, we are rising up for at least 10 paid sick days. We're rising up for homelessness. Everyone deserves shelter. Everyone deserves to call a place home. Today, we're rising up for social justice. We're rising up for racial justice. We're rising up for economical justice. And we are sending the message. We're not begging. We're not asking for handout. We're here to send the message that we're going to continue to fight to keep what's ours. We're going to continue to fight to lift each other out of poverty. We're going to continue to fight for respect. Today is the day that we rise up to say to our government, we need stronger policy. We need stronger policies in place. Health and safety is important. We shouldn't have to go through COVID to start designing and building safety gears for our workers. It's a shame. It's a shame when workers go to the bargaining table, an employer flies in the face of the same government who offer 1%. Employer who said you deserve nothing. That's a shame. So we're here sending message at thousands of workers, thousands of people out there that can't be here today, that we're not going to take it. We are not going to take it, and we're going to continue this fight to raise standard, to lift each other. And I want to say happy Labor Day to each and every one of you. Let us continue this, not just today. We're going to continue this at the end of this day where we're going to stand by these messages. Stand strong. Happy Labor Day.
From our President, Andrea Babington, happy Labor Day! Thank you to everyone who attended and participated. Thanks to those who organized the event today. Thanks to our bus driver and our staff and the workers who made this event possible, and the broadcast and the live stream possible. The broadcast and live stream will end